I'm Julie Saunders.
I'm Jan Wilson. Julie and I both have experience as school librarians, and we've worked together as district library leaders.
In each episode, we'll dive into our profession with interviews and meaningful content to inspire you. We're not experts,
but we're pretty close.
The ideas and opinions shared by any host, guest, or listener are their own and do not represent those of any respective school district.
Welcome to Library Exchange. This episode is sponsored by Permabound Books. Find great value with the right books at the right price, delivered timely with Permabound. The patented Permabound binding comes with an unconditional guarantee.
Search for specific books, choose from curated lists, utilize tools like Series Tracker and Manage My Collection to enhance your curriculum support.
In Gwinnett County, Georgia, contact Mark McMullen for assistance or find your local rep at perma-bound.com.
Are you ready, Jan?
Well, how do you like this since it's October, Julie? Some may find today's episode topic to be scary, but it's not. Or listeners, we're here to bring you treats, not tricks.
Oh, that's a good one too. I think either one. We could go with either one.
Well, anyway.
Great. Well, Jan, let's get back on track. Are you good?
I mean, I have a few more word plays, but I'll save them for another episode. And then our listeners can look forward to those.
Sounds good. So I'm going to get us started. Our guest today is Elissa Malaspina, a teacher librarian in New Jersey who specializes in helping educators and librarians integrate AI into teaching and learning.
She's the author of the book, AI in the Library, Strategies, Tools, and Ethics for Today's Schools. It was just released this past May. You can purchase it on Amazon. And we can't forget to mention that Elissa was named a Library Journal Mover and Shaker in 2022.
She's also the author of the AI School Librarians newsletter, which is a Substack publication focused on practical AI tools and instructional strategies.
Listeners, if you hear a common theme here, yes, we're going to be talking about AI on this episode.
Welcome to Library Exchange, Elissa.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I have wanted to come on for a while. I mean, how can you not with those amazing puns?
I didn't pay her to say that, Julie. Thank you for that, Elissa. So to get us started, can you tell us just a little bit about your school, the number of students and staff, any other details you'd like to share?
Sure. I work in an urban school district. We are a Title I school. I am in a 7 to 12 grade school. It's a magnet school, STEM school, and we have about 1,000 students.
Great. So we'll start off with the hard-hitting questions right off the bat. Why do you feel that appropriate uses of AI is a better conversation for students than avoiding AI within instruction?
So the reason I think it's so important is because they're using AI. It's that simple. They're using it. They have access to it. Even if they don't have access to it at school because it's blocked, they have their phone. They're using it. So instead of us ignoring it, we need to start explaining how to use it appropriately, and, when to use it, and when not to use it, and the ethical issues behind it, and, all of the things that go into it, because we can't hide and act like it's not there, because that's not going to work in today's world. We did that for a while with social media, and look where it got us. So I think we need to, here is an opportunity for us to be proactive and start to have these conversations with our kids, because it is something that they're using and they don't understand it also. They don't fully understand it. They're struggling with when should I use it? When should I not use it? Do I use it? How do I use it? So this is an opportunity for us to really start to have those conversations with the kids, because they want us to have those conversations also.
Right. So since you brought up social media and we talk about news feeds, hopefully our students are learning. There are multiple places to get information. The question of, is this real, is something that they have to really check accuracy for on anything. So, how important is student understanding of AI? When you're teaching them, they need to seek the correct information.
So it's so important because AI is what is feeding those news feeds. The AI is feeding with the social media. So those algorithms are all done by AI. What you're seeing versus what another person is seeing is totally different. And we're also at the point now with AI and deep fakes and the ability to change things and manipulate things that you might not even be able to tell what is real or not. So when you're starting to have those conversations about news literacy, you have to start talking about AI. You can't ignore it because it is so important now to figure out, to talk to them about the algorithms, the deep fakes, the problems that we're seeing, and also some of the good things we're seeing that can happen with having, AI and social media and all of those things.
So we know listeners out there, there's a lot of folks that are embracing the idea of AI. They just don't know how to do it. How do they apply it? How do you use AI tools for your lessons and programming in the school library? Do you have some examples of that would help others?
Yeah, I mean, one that I just used today, which was we needed to make the principal wanted our screens in our school to have SAT words going
Hmm.
all the time with definitions. Well, in the past, I would have had to go search for all these SAT words, find the definitions. It would have taken forever to do. I needed like 180 of them.
Whew.
Well,
Oh my goodness.
I needed to, so what did I do? I went to ChatGPT. I told it to come up with a list of 180 SAT words plus definitions. I then and took that list and I asked it to make it a CSV file, so a spreadsheet file for me. I could then take that spreadsheet, upload it into Canva, did Canva Bulk Create. I had designed a little slide,
Hmm.
and with Canva Bulk Create, I quickly made 180 slides, and then we put it
Wow.
onto the screens for the
Wow.
kids, and it is now playing all the time. Now
Wow.
what
How
did
long? So, Alyssa, how long would that have taken you
oh my
I've been
years
there.
ago?
oh my god, 3 years ago, that would have been hours and hours and
Whew.
hours and hours of work.
Wow.
This took me 20 minutes, and that was just because I'm like to design my slide to make it really pretty looking and get the font exactly right. And when you do Bulk Create, sometimes it makes the go over or the slide a little, so I had to go back in and adjust things a little correctly, but not even 20 minutes. Like
That's
I
incredible.
I mean, 5-10 minutes total if to do it. Um
I've been there and done that at a high school where we had a word of the day
yeah.
and we had a committee that divided up those slides. But if I can ask you a quick question, you mentioned we need to not only for our students but our staff give them positive examples of AI. And you just gave one. What are some other examples that we can talk to them about that they may not know it's AI in their world doing this?
So, I mean, there's so many that you can do. I mean, lesson planning is one that staff, you have to write these lesson plans. They're sometimes very detailed. You sometimes need to differentiate based on, learning
Mhm.
abilities and all of that. And that can be really hard and time consuming. And I'm telling you to help me if I were writing lesson plans, they give you really great ideas. There are some really good ideas out there, especially when it comes to helping to differentiate for our special ed students, for our ELL students. I mean, there are websites like Diffit and others that are using AI to help with that are doing translation. There is no reason we shouldn't be using a tool like that to do translations, to make it so that everybody can use that. We
Mhm.
can now use Screencastify to make videos that have the captions that can be in almost every language because they have that ability now so that you're meeting the people where they are and where they're at. And before, to be able to differentiate easily to make it into like a second grade text or a fifth
Right.
grade text or a eighth grade text, that was hard to do. But now
Mhm.
it's easy to do. And so I think that those are ways that AI is doing incredible things that are really making our lives easier and are helping us to be able to meet the needs of our students in ways we couldn't before.
So I have some other questions. So those are you have three great examples already. I mean,
Mhm.
the translations, the word of the day slides that would have taken hours and hours, and differentiating text. How about when you're actually in the process of teaching students information literacy skills? What types of things do you do to coach them through? What tips and tricks do you provide for them so that they can embed AI without overusing it or
Yeah.
underusing it or not understanding how to use it?
So I talked to them a lot about the idea of when we should and shouldn't use it for research and in the research process and writing process. So we're not going to use it to write our entire paper,
Mhm.
but it can be helpful to use something like Storm by Stanford to help if you are struggling with understanding a topic to put in your topic, and then Storm can give you a Wikipedia-like article that can really go into depth to give you that basic knowledge and understanding that you might be struggling with, or that can help you to realize how to exactly do I want to use that topic. Because a lot of times kids struggle with it's I have such a broad idea, but how do I narrow it? So something
Mhm.
like that for Storm or ChatGPT or Perplexity or a tool like that can really help you to narrow your topics. And then I've also use it to do keyword searches because kids struggle with keyword searches for databases.
Yes.
They really do. They always put in like, what is, they put in they write the question. And you're like, no, that's not how it works. So what I have done is I've had them use ChatGPT, one of those type of tools, to give me keywords to search
Mhm.
the databases to help me find good articles. And when they have those and then they put them in, then we find good quality resources that they can take that they can then read or they can put into a tool like NotebookLM, which I love.
Mhm.
You can build your own data set, which while you're then building a data set built with resources, which is no different than what we did anyway, really, guys.
Mhm.
When we're having kids research, what were we having them do? Photocopy those articles.
Yes.
Okay, they would go and they'd photocopy the articles or they'd write how many come on, we all used those note cards. We
Note
all did.
cards.
Oh my god, did I have my note cards for my
Mhm.
dissertation when I was writing my dissertation in my like I had my note
Mhm.
cards all over the place. Well, now you have a tool like NotebookLM where you can upload those articles, those database articles, that text you found, that website that you found, you put it all together into one place, and then you can ask it those questions that you were asking yourself anyway. You're not only getting back the answer, but you're getting back where it was in that site, that source. So was it from that article from the database, or was it from that website that I put in, or was it from, something
Mhm.
that I found? And so you're getting that information there that you can then use to help you write your paper. It is not going to write, it should not be writing your paper for you, should not be doing all of that, but you should be using it to help you to help find things. And now
Yeah.
with Notebook LM, you can make a podcast out of what you're doing.
Yes.
So if you're an auditory learner, you can take all your sources and listen to it. It can do mind maps for you. It can make note cards and flashcards and other stuff out of it that can really help you to get a better understanding of that research.
So I just want again to list the three resources that you just spoke about.
Okay.
Notebook LM, which you talked about having access to the mind maps and the note cards, and you can make a podcast.
Mhm.
And then you also, of course, have ChatGPT, which many people are familiar with. That was
Yeah.
one of the first AI tools. But you also mentioned Storm from Stanford University. I'm not familiar with this. Could you just briefly explain that?
Sure. So this is a website that is AI done through Stanford University, and it uses really good sources and it makes these Wikipedia-like
Mhm.
articles out of topics for students. And so it gives you background information. It goes into more depth. It links to different resources that you can look at. So I like to do that for if it's a big topic that the kids are given
Mhm.
and they are struggling with how to figure that out, to give them something like this to help them to sort of be able to figure out, where do I want to go?
Wow, that's great.
I had not heard of that either, but I sit and think it's no different back in the day when students had a topic they had no understanding of,
Yeah.
that we used to say, let's go to the encyclopedia
Uh-huh.
and understand a little bit more. And when you were talking about all of these tools, they're not replacing the important steps of us doing research and writing. They're helping us with these organizational
Mhm.
pieces.
Mhm.
And also with databases, they recommend alternative keywords to help. So
Yeah.
showing students what are some other keywords I can use to find out about this topic, that is groundbreaking for some of our students, especially the ones who don't know a
Oh.
lot about their topic.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, the databases still do that, but the kids don't
Mhm,
always know to look for it, so
mhm.
but they might, they're gonna go to ChatGPT to ask it for questions anyway, or they're gonna go, like, my son grew up in the generation of, "Just Google it, mom." And, so this is where they're at. So using a tool like that and saying to them, "It's okay to use ChatGPT to help you find some keywords," isn't a horrible thing. And it's also important to tell them, hey, if you do use that, then you got to cite it. And it's not bad that you used it, but acknowledge that you cited it. Acknowledge
Mhm.
that it helped you with that, or it helped you with your brainstorming. But you also need to realize that you need to cite these tools also, because that is important also.
Is there a role in a school that you think is equipped to do the things that you just described?
Yes, the name is in here, the name's on the podcast. We librarians are perfectly aligned for this.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
guys, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. It's stuff we were already doing.
Mhm.
Right.
It's nothing we weren't doing. So, like, don't freak out because we are now in the world of AI. We were doing all these things. All these tips you're seeing on, like, navigating the world of AI, it's like librarians were there all along. We've been telling you
Mhm,
how to do
mhm.
this. You need to use your research skills. You need to use your information literacy skills. You need to be a good digital citizen. You need to do all of those things. You need to question facts. You need to cite your sources. That's all things we have been preaching forever. So we just need to continue sort of preaching what we have been doing, but we have
Right.
to do it in a way that we also bring AI into the conversation.
AI is a foot in the door for some librarians to
Yeah.
advocate for their role.
Mhm.
They just don't always realize it because it's a little bit unknown. So I love that you're kind of breaking it down for us today.
So you've offered up so many suggestions for how librarians can use some of these tools and how students can be taught using some of the tools. How about those listeners out there that may not have clerical support? Do you have any examples of some ways AI has helped you with administrative tasks?
I mean, I'm one of 1,000 students and no support. And I
Mhm.
was in a school before then that was me and 2,400 students and no support. So AI has made my life so much easier. The idea that I gave you about the slides, I did my entire slideshow for the entire year. I used ChatGPT and Canva Bulk Create to do. And it took me almost no time to do it. And I made slides for the entire year. So
Amazing.
every week I do a new slideshow that I share with my students that goes up on my displays. And that was all done through ChatGPT. Every day I do social media I do an Instagram post. And I did that all through Bulk Create and ChatGPT and Canva. And the
Wow.
scheduling feature, because Canva has a scheduling feature, guys.
Oh, I
Yeah.
You
wasn't
didn't know
aware.
that? Oh,
No.
yeah. If you have the pro account of Canva, which all teachers can get, you have the ability to create your Canva things and then schedule it, and it goes out. So every day I have something new going out from my Canva for the entire school year. I am done. And
Wow. That blows my mind.
I made those posts using Bulk Create and social media. Now,
Wow.
before that would have taken me forever to do. I think I have a Feel Good Friday. I have
Oh.
a digital literacy day. I have research skill tip. I mean, I have a guess the book emoji, the title of the book, all created using AI. There is a post that I wrote about all of this that's in my Substack where you can go through and I explain to you how I did it. So, you could go ahead and figure that out. But stuff like that has made it so that I can do things. A lot of my administrative tasks, I have now freed up. I don't have to do those. I have more time to spend with my kids. I have more
Wow.
time to spend with a request like my principal came to us today and was like, can you do this? I could quickly do that for them. Well, in the past, if I was stuck doing all of these administrative tasks, I couldn't do. I am more present to be helpful to the teachers, to be there for the kids than I was because I can do a lot of these administrative things with the help of AI.
Alyssa, I'm so glad I sharpened my number 2 pencil before we
Me too.
I've been
I've been taking
taking
all kinds
yeah,
of
I've been taking
notes.
so many notes because you have so much knowledge that you're just able to share, and so I'm on page 2 of notes.
Yep, I'm about to flip
Um,
the page.
uh, I do wanna say that your book that I've been thumbing through has
Mhm.
example prompts that you can do and share
Mhm.
with teachers and students, which is awesome, but as we wrap up, how can our listeners take advantage of your AI professional learning opportunities and also share your contact information, please?
Sure. So you can get me at elissamalaspina.com is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. You can also find me at the AI School Librarians newsletter and Substack. And this is something that I'm really excited about. School Library Journal and Library Journal have put together a 3-course teaching AI literacy courses. There's 3 courses. You don't need to take all 3, or you could take all 3. I wrote 2 of the courses and I'm featured in the 3rd course. They're on demand learning. They're starting September 15th, but it's okay if you're hearing about this now because you can still go back and do them since they're on demand. So the first one in the series is called Teaching AI Literacy in Schools. The second one is called Ethical AI Research Skills for Students, which talks to you about some of the NotebookLM and all of those things that I sort of talked about a little today and how to do research with children and using it ethically. And then the third one is called AI Tools for School Libraries. Those come out October 15th and then November 17th, and I'm really excited about those. I think they're really good courses and geared towards school librarians or people who work in libraries, especially school libraries, to help you understand and use these tools.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Alyssa, so
Mhm.
much for joining us today, sharing the amazing tips and tricks for librarian administrative tasks and for using AI within lessons with students. Just incredible ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, I was wrong. We got tricks and treats.
We did.
We did. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you guys. It was so much fun talking to you guys. We have to do this again.
Absolutely. We learned so many practical tips using AI from Alyssa. We exchanged ideas. Now it's time for the recap. So, Alyssa truly is an expert with AI in education. Her perspectives about AI are just so refreshing and it's not driven by hype. It's just really grounded in practicality and just real student learning impact.
Hmm. Well, besides an expert, Julie, she's an author of a
That's
book
true.
on AI.
Yes, very
uh,
true.
and also has that newsletter that I'll mention at the end. We cannot forget, you guys, that librarians are already information experts. Okay, so just add AI to your menu because
Mhm.
we're perfect for leading it in our schools with students and staff.
So I think any member of your library staff can really use her tips for clerical work as well as instructional work. After we recorded, I was reflecting back on all the years where
Oh,
I was making flyers and PowerPoints and signs that maybe only slightly related to library content or maybe not related at all, but it was part of your school culture. The hours and hours that I put
right.
into those things, all the wasted time.
Right. And lesson plans.
Yes,
Don't
all of
forget
that.
lesson plans
Yep.
because when she was talking about, I know you're going to mention a few, she was speaking about Diffit, which is that educational
Mm.
tool for teachers.
Mhm.
Not only does it, it's hard for me to say differentiate, but I think I just said it. For the levels, but it translated to 70 language. But it made me think about when you were a teacher, Julie, did you have to write out your lesson plans and turn
Yes.
them in?
Well, someone always came by and checked. You always had to have
Okay.
them ready. I didn't have to turn them in at my school.
So in one school I worked at, it was like a 3 carbon copy duplicate form, and we had to turn them in 2 weeks in advance. Now you could use it to help you write lesson plans. And even the piece that was difficult for me my first years where we were required to have a hook at the beginning of our
Mm.
lesson, there's no reason we shouldn't use AI to help us.
To be able to plan for all the ability
Well,
levels while still providing a level of rigor is incredibly difficult for instructors. Apparently, saying level of rigor is hard to say for me as well. Not even to just do it. But again, I think about the time that I used to take outside of school hours to complete these tasks. And it's just
Mhm.
like educators are so committed to providing the best experience possible for their students, and AI just can really help them do it more efficiently. She mentioned Canva Bulk Create, and I just have to shout out to Canva. What a great
Right.
feature. I mean, maybe people know about this. It's the first time I'd heard about it. She used it for SAT words, but I was thinking about morning news shows, being able to create trivia questions, joke of the day, moments in
Right.
history, birthday slides. I mean, the list goes on. All those hours that I spent putting those slides together.
It gives you back your time, and that's the piece that I went away with when she was describing it with teachers. She also mentioned Screencastify because it has AI generated captions. It also translates. So all of these tools are there for us to help our students,
Mhm.
and they're free. And one thing she said was by using these with your students, you're meeting them at their point of need, and that's what librarians do.
Yep, that's our job.
Yeah, what
So with
about students?
Yeah, well, with students, it's important to be specific about when you should and should not use AI for assignments. So, I really liked her guidance on how to introduce appropriate uses for students while they are still learning the necessary skills for the project, but doing it in a more efficient or a more creative way. And of course, there's always other ways that students can use AI for their own study tools, like making flashcards and things like that.
I think the initial reaction from educators with this was, oh no, they're going to not ever write their own original paper or research will change. And I kind of remember that that was the attitude with some other tools,
Yep.
like when we had databases and internet and keyword searches, etc. But it's more than just help writing a paper. Because I wrote down those study aids that will help students as well. And also, I think it's important the science behind it or the technology behind it. I wrote down that students need to learn and understand algorithms.
Mm,
And
yes.
I mean, even as adults, people need to
Yeah.
understand it too. But how to identify AI generated content. And I cannot emphasize how librarians are in the unique position to lead this. And if you don't feel comfortable with this, seek out opportunities to become familiar because instead of saying, I'm the go to person for media and information literacy, and people say, huh? You could say, AI, I've been doing it for years. Same
Absolutely.
tools.
Yes, it is. So, my final thoughts really is just a couple of things. You should be using AI to be more efficient. You should be using it to plan differentiated lessons while still providing a level of rigor for your students. And students should use AI tools for learning efficiency and not in ways that provide a barrier to the actual content knowledge.
Oh, that's good,
Yeah,
Julie.
thanks. I came up
That's
with that
oh,
without
that's good.
AI.
Again, find ways to lead with AI in your school. And I took lots of notes from her, and I'm cutting it
Me
off
too.
short. But remember, we are trusted, ethical, and forward thinking. That's what librarians do.
Mm.
So you can find out more about Elissa at elissamalespina.com. And don't forget to check out her AI School Librarians newsletter on Substack. And we will talk to you next time.
Make sure to visit our website at www.libraryexchangepodcast.com.
You'll find episode notes and links. You can even submit your questions or inspiring stories that may be featured on the podcast.
If you're looking for some swag for your library or book-loving friends, visit libraryexchange.etsy.com.
That's a lot of URLs, so I'm glad you had to say all of that, Julie.
Thanks for joining us. We can't wait to have you back for our next episode of Library Exchange.